All right, 6-4 is about angles and their relationships and about drawing angles and knowing acute, obtuse, and right angles, all about angles. Can you identify or can you draw an angle given certain specifications? So let's see.
How are angles formed by intersecting lines related? Think about this question during the lesson. A skewed intersection has two roads that intersect at more than 20 degrees away from 90 degrees. Determine whether the road intersection shown is skewed by finding the measures of angle A, B, C, and angle D, B, E. Look for relationships. What angle measures would a skewed intersection have? A skewed intersection would have angle measures less than 70 degrees or greater than 110 degrees. Let's examine how the angles are related. Angles opposite each other are called vertical angles.
I'm pausing the video for an Edpuzzle and for dramatic effect. Please remember what a vertical angle is. Angles that are opposite of each other, diagonal from each other, are vertical angles, and they are equal. They are the same.
Vertical angles have equal measures. In this example, angle ABC and angle DBE are vertical angles. Non-overlapping angles that share a ray are called adjacent angles.
Again, pausing. Write that down somewhere, ingrain it into your head, type it, send a text to someone about what an adjacent angle is. I don't care what you do as long as you write it down because that's going to make you remember it better. Adjacent angles are angles that do not overlap and they share a ray, they share an arm. So these two here are adjacent angles.
Angle ABE and angle EBD are adjacent angles because they share ray BE.
All right, so it says DBC. So DBC and ABE are vertical angles because they are across from each other, as well as these two in red. So the red ones are equal, the blue ones are equal. And they are adjacent. A blue is adjacent to a red, is adjacent to a blue, is adjacent to a red.
Now we're ready to write and solve an equation for the value of x. What justifies the equation the measure of angle ABC equals the measure of angle DBE?
Select your answer.
Okay, so it's saying why are angle ABC and DBE, why can we say that they're equal? Well, because they're vertical angles, and vertical angles are equal. So we can say that this equals that.
Angle ABC and angle DBE are vertical angles, so their measures are equal. Write the equation x plus 35 equals 2 times x minus 10. Solve the equation by adding 10 to both sides and simplifying. Then subtract x from both sides. So x equals 45. Now that we have identified the value of x, we still need to find the measure of an angle in the intersection. We can substitute the value of x into either expression in the diagram. Let's use the measure of angle ABC. Substitute 45 for x and simplify. The measure of the angle is 80 degrees. Angle ABC and angle DBE both measure 80 degrees. Since 80 degrees is within 20 degrees of 90 degrees, the road intersection is not skewed.
All right, so first application question, let's see if we can try it. So MNQ and PNR. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I know where those two angles are. MN NQ is here. M, N, Q, and PNR, PNR are vertical angles. Yes, they are. Look at that. They are across from each other. Okay, they are across from each other. They are vertical. One is vertical of the other one. So if we were to find the value of x, okay, we learned in the video that we need to set those two equations equal to one another because the angles are equal. So if PNR is 114, then that is equal to 3x minus 6, which is MNQ. Those two are the same things. Now we just have to solve the equation. So we're going to add 6, and we're going to get 120 equals 3x. And then we're going to divide by 3. We're going to get 40 equals x. Okay, now we know what x is. So we can be, the value of x is 40. Vertical angles are equal. So the equation 114 equals 3x minus 6 can be used to find x. The value of x is 40. Okay, convince me, why can you use an equation when solving for x in the diagram? Because we know that two things are equal to one another, and that is an equation. Okay, if it didn't say solve for x, if it just said what is the angle of MNQ, we could have just said that it's 114 because this is 114, which means this is 114 because they are equal. But it asked us to solve for x, so we had to write the equation. All right, example 2. Ray EG splits right angle DEF into two angles. Angle DEG, and GEF. GEF. All right, these are adjacent angles because they are side by side and they share an arm, but it's also introducing us to the term complementary angles. Okay, so they are adjacent, but they are also complementary, which means they add to be 90 degrees. So how do we solve for x in this case? Well, we would set 3x plus 36, so that's the two angles, and the two angles added together equal 90 degrees. So we would subtract 36, I thought I had a dead spot on my board, minus 36, we get 4, 54, 3x equals 54. And then x we would divide by 3, x would equal, we would do 3 into 5 is 1, and it's 3, that's 24, and it's 8. So x equals 18. Okay, if it wanted us now to take that 18 and solve for DEG, we would do 3 times that, or we could have just done 90 minus 36 equals the measure of angle DEG. Okay, it's either going to ask you to find the angle or solve for x, and we can do both. So I'm showing you both in case we get there. All right. Pretty straightforward so far. What is this going to say? Just as I did 18. All right, next page. Whoop. Two angles shown are supplementary. All right, so another term that we have to try to remember. So we have supplementary, complementary, adjacent, and vertical. We have those four things so far. Okay, complementary meant that two angles add to equal 90. Okay, supplementary, it says they have a sum of 80, so two angles add to equal 180. Adjacent angles, two angles that share a ray. And vertical angles are angles opposite each other and are equal. All right, so now that we have all that stuff out of the way, let's try to solve this problem. So two angles or supplementary angles, find x. So we know that 50, which is this one, plus x over 2. I wish I had an undo button. It would be faster than erasing. Not plus, but minus 4 equals 180. Okay, the sum of the two angles equal 180. So we would have 50 plus, well, 1 times x over 2 is x over 2. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4 equals 180. Okay, distributing combine. 50 minus 4 is 46 plus x over 2 equals 180. Subtract 46, get 0. X over 2 is equal to 4, 3, 134. 134 times 2, see if I can squeeze it in here, is going to be 268. Okay, so 2 is, or x is equal to 268. So that's how we solved for x. All right, I have a whole lot of things to erase here. Hopefully you remember these when I ask you the Edpuzzle question at the end. So if we went next, there we go, add 180, 134, 268. Okay, so try to remember those few things that I added in there. I'm going to give you a couple questions on them, obviously, so that you know they're important. And let's see how angles goes. Whoops.